Hello, I'm Hope Inman, and I did my project on child labor laws in the United States. The Fair Labor Standard Act establishes child labor standards as well as minimum wage, overtime pay, equal pay, whistleblower, and record-keeping standards. These standards affect full-time and part-time workers in the private sector and in federal, state, and local government. The Fair Labor Standard Act child labor provisions are designed to protect the educational opportunities of minors and prohibit their employment in jobs and under conditions detrimental to their health or well-being. The Fair Labor Standards Act regulates child labor by setting minimum ages for jobs that have been determined to be particularly hazardous, setting minimum ages for all other jobs, and limiting the hours that children are permitted to work. There are also exceptions to some of these requirements. The Federal Standards Act distinguishes between particularly hazardous work for children and other work that is not considered particularly hazardous. The minimum age for particularly hazardous work in agriculture is age 16. Whereas the particularly hazardous work in all other sectors of the economy is age 18. These minimum ages are established by law and will require an act of Congress to be changed. There are 11 hazardous orders in agriculture that forbid children under age 16 from doing any of the following jobs. Number 1. Operating a tractor in most situations. Number 2. Operating or assisting to operate specified machinery such as grain combines, hay mowers and balers, feed grinders, and power post hole diggers. Operating or assisting to operate trenchers or earth-moving equipment, forklifts, potato combines, and power driver circular band or chainsaws. Number 3. Working on a farm in a yard, pen, or stall occupied by a bull, boar, or stud horse maintained for breeding purposes. A sow, or female pig, with suckling pigs. Or a cow with a newborn calf that still has its umbilical cord. Number 4. Felling, bucking, skidding, loading or unloading timber with a butt diameter of more than 6 inches. Number 5. Working from a ladder or scaffold at a height of over 20 feet. Number 6. Driving a bus, truck, or automobile while transporting passengers or riding on a tractor as a passenger or helper. Number 7. Working inside certain enclosed areas such as fruit, forage, or grain storage facilities designed to retain an oxygen-deficient or toxic atmosphere as well as in a manure pit. Number 8. Handling or applying agricultural chemicals that are acutely toxic. Number 9. Handling or using a blasting agent such as dynamite, ammonium nitrate, and blasting caps. Number 10. Transporting, transferring, or applying anhydrous ammonia. There are 17 hazardous orders pertaining to all industries other than agriculture that forbid children under age 18 from doing any of the following jobs. Number 1. Manufacturing or storing explosives. Number 2. Driving a motor vehicle and being an outside helper on a motor vehicle. Number 3. Coal mining. Number 4. Logging and sawmilling. Number 5. Operating power-driven woodworking machines. Number 6. Exposure to radioactive substances and to ionizing radiations. Number 7. Operating power-driven hoisting equipment. Number 8. Operating power-driven metal-forming punching and shearing machines. Number 9. Mining other than coal mining. Number 10. Operating power-driven meat processing machines and slaughtering, meat packing or processing and rendering. Number 11. Operating power-driven bakery machines. Number 12, operating power-driven paper product machines, scrap paper balers, and paper box compactors. Number 13, manufacturing brick, tile, and related products. Number 14, operating power-driven circular saws, band saws, and guillotine shears. Number 15, wrecking, demolition, and ship-breaking operations. Number 16, working in roofing operations, including any work on or in close proximity to roofs, such as installing or repairing gutters and cable and satellite dishes on roofs. Number 17, working in certain excavation operations. In jobs that are not considered particularly hazardous, the Fair Labor Standards Act sets the normal minimum age for employment in agriculture at 14 years, whereas in every other industry the normal minimum age is 16 years. In agriculture, there are 3 exceptions to the normal age 14 minimum age. Number 1. A child of ages 12 or 13 may work where a parent or guardian consents to the child's employment or is employed on the same farm as the child. Number 2. A child under age 12 may work where the child is employed by a parent or guardian on a farm owned or operated by the parent or guardian, or the child is employed with the consent of a parent or guardian on a small farm as defined in the Fair Labor Standards Act. Number 3. A child of age 10 or 11 may work as a hand harvest laborer for no more than 8 weeks in a year. In all other industries apart from agriculture, there is 4 exceptions to the normal age 16 minimum age. Number 1. A child of age 14 or 15 may work in an occupation except in mining or manufacturing only if the Secretary of Labor determines that such work would not interfere with the child's schooling or health and well-being. Using this authority, the Secretary has issued regulations permitting children of ages 14 and 15 to work in limited specified jobs in retail, food service, and gasoline service establishments. Number 2. Child actors and performers are not subject to the Fair Labor Standards Act child labor protections. Number 3. Children engaged in the delivery of newspapers to the consumer are not subject to the Fair Labor Standards Act's child labor protections. And number 4, children working at home making evergreen wreaths are not subject to the Fair Labor Standards Act's child labor protection. In agriculture, the only restriction on hours of employment is that children cannot work during school hours. Outside of agriculture, those 14 to 15 years old cannot work before 7 a.m. or after 7 p.m., after 9 p.m. from June 1st through Labor Day, and they cannot work more than 3 hours on a school day or more than 18 hours in a school week, more than 8 hours on a non-school day, or more than 40 hours in a non-school week. There are no work hour limitations for 16 and 17-year-olds. The federal minimum wage is $5.85 an hour. Youth minimum wage, a minimum wage of not less than $4.25 an hour, is permitted for employees under 20 years of age during the first 90 consecutive calendar days of employment.